Section 13, the IQ lie. He would bring Mama Jean onto his live streams, where she'd tell his audience how brilliant he was, praising his intellect, validating his genius IQ.
And the reason I quote my exact IQ is because it matters. It's 1 in 10,000. And so when they find that out, it's as if you can run a 4.140 and they don't let you in the NFL. 147 is 1 in 10,000. Mm-hmm. So one reason why I took offense to this, not offense, but it's like, imagine being an educator and you have a kid with a mental capacity that's off the charts. And what you do is you put them in a corner. Like my IQ was higher than any teacher there by far, like no question. My musical ability was better than musicians. And what they punished me for it.
They did in the school system, but fortunately, that's when we found a teacher for you.
Well, yeah, and at home I wasn't punished, so that's why I survived it. But a lot of, but that is nothing compared to what kids face now.
Yes.
It isn't just bragging, it's branding. He understands that in his chosen audience, intelligence equals legitimacy. So the 147 IQ claim isn't about measurement, it's about status, a way to posture above his followers, to justify every rant as genius misunderstood. But in a movement obsessed with numbers, nothing reveals insecurity faster than the need to keep repeating one.
And how things layer on top of each other, my IQ is ridiculously high. Like when I've told people in the past that, in 6th grade it was 147, and then my mom confirmed it.
Oh, someone just asked, Mom confirmed, all right, what's my IQ?
147.
Yeah, confirmed. Sometimes people don't always believe me. Yeah, which is, that's like what, like 1 in 10,000? And then they punished me for that.
Yes. As they punished you for playing the piano so well.
And that's standard. That's like, I'm not that,
Don't fit the mold.
I do understand why people go, oh, mommy's boy, oh, he's a liar. No, it's because people were saying I was lying about it. And on a stream, I just was like, Mom, can you verify this? Because people are not. 147 is insane at that type of IQ.
It's become part of the performance. Owen Benjamin, the misunderstood prodigy.
I didn't force you two to read, and neither of you read till you were 6. And I said, oh dear, they're going to go to school. What's going to happen now? They might be put in the lowest level. But the minute you hit school, both of you started to read, and you were put into, the bluebirds versus the robins, or the whatever they called you. And, but you didn't have, neither of you had a desire to learn. Of course, I'm reading, I was reading to you all the time.
No, you read to me every night, like high level.
You were 13, Owen.
I know.
Because you wanted to hear the words.
I like to hear them a lot more than read them.
Than read them.
But do you remember the public school's reaction to my IQ results?
Yes. Yes. And at the time, I didn't do much with it. They wished you weren't there because you didn't fit the mold. And you were supposed to fit the gifted and talented mold, but you were beyond the gifted and talented mold. And so I remember you got kicked out of the gifted and talented program because you wouldn't learn how to do an outline. You told the teacher, this isn't what gifted and talented is, because she told me about that. And so I am removing Owen because he will not do as he is told. He was told to write an outline, and he said no.
On the Owen Benjamin subreddit, a user known as the Codsworth decided to run an experiment. He took 3 of Owen's introspective tweets and fed them through an AI-based IQ analysis tool. The result? An average IQ score of 101. Not 147, as Owen has repeatedly bragged on stream, citing an old childhood test administered by his mother, but 101. For a man who's built his entire online identity around being a misunderstood genius, this was devastating, and it explains a lot about his hatred for Reddit, because while YouTube and his private chat rooms give him applause, Reddit gave him data, the one thing Owen Benjamin can't argue with, mock or ban. Meanwhile, Nick Fuentes rarely mentions IQ at all, Yet his debates and strategic instincts have earned him a reputation for razor-sharp intellect. In the extreme right political sphere, IQ isn't just a number, it's a currency. It's used to rank, to categorize, to rationalize entire worldviews. For many conservative and dissident circles, IQ becomes a way to explain hierarchy, to frame culture, race, and politics through a lens of supposed objectivity. That's why Owen talks about his own IQ so obsessively.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think Taleb makes a good point in that IQ isn't the end-all, be-all and everything. But by the same token, obviously, IQ is tapping into something. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the worldview that IQ paints, or the disparities in IQ and the worldview that they paint, like, resonate with us, with our experiences, right? Like, if we were to say that Africans have the lowest IQ and the next lowest is Hispanics and then whites and then Asians, I think a lot of people would say, well, that makes sense based on what we see. That's more or less reflective of reality. So I don't know if I'm committed to the idea of IQ. I don't really have technical knowledge of IQ or what it measures, or I'm not a statistician, right? But I think that it's kind of missing the point to say, well, IQ isn't really a measure of whatever. They had a lower IQ. It's like, well, obviously there is a disparity in something, whatever capacity that might be, that certain people clearly are not functional in the kinds of societies that we build, and certain people are, right? I mean, I don't think anybody would deny that. So that's where it kind of comes down to me. I don't know if I'm wedded to the idea of IQ, so to speak, but I will say that people like Charles Murray, Jason Richwine, Jared Taylor, like a lot of great intellectuals, Jordan Peterson even, are big believers in it. So I think Taleb, I don't know. I'm hesitant to say this, but obviously IQ has some pretty profound ramifications if you support it. So is this a case of obfuscation on the part of somebody who doesn't really want to engage with the idea because they're afraid of the consequences, or what, right? I mean, do you kind of get where I'm going with that?
Nick Fuentes is incredibly smart. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Fuentes had a higher IQ than me. I like to point that out. It is rare. And Vox Day and potentially Nick Fuentes, I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Fuentes was smarter than I am. I like to point that out because I don't like when people, like when they identify someone as being smarter than them, they get mad at that person and they get so angry and they're like, oh, admit. When I identify people as potentially smarter than them, I listen to them and really enjoy it because they're better. They're better than me at thinking. Like, Nick Fuentes is an incredibly good thinker. His brain just goes zip, 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 zip. And as someone who has an incredibly high IQ, I almost sound like Alex, what's that guy's name? Alec Baldwin in The Departed. He's like, I have a perfect record. I respect people with a perfect record. I have a perfect record. It's like, as someone with an incredibly high IQ, I really enjoy seeing someone potentially be smarter than me.